Have you ever noticed that the closer you are to somebody, the easier it is to be around them? The the more strained your relationship is, the harder it is to be around that person. We tend to pull back from people that we don't feel connected to, and the relationship drifts. We withdraw, and it becomes more cold. We tend to pursue the people that things are going well with, and the relationship gets stronger and closer. The same kind of dynamic works with the Lord. It just seems to be the way of our heart that when things are going well, we push in, and when they're not, we pull back. And there's a scary dynamic. So James says that if we draw near to God, he will draw near to us. So when we push in, we have gained, developed that intimacy with the Lord. The opposite of that is when we pull back, we could end up where Pharaoh was in Moses' story, in the Exodus story. Pharaoh would harden his heart against the Lord, and then God used that to have him go in a very dark place where he completely refused the movement of God and was completely annihilated in the crashing of the waves of the Red Sea. And that happened because he began to go down a cold path. Jesus says to the church, one of the churches in Laodicea in Revelation, he says, I wish that you were either hot or cold, but because you are lukewarm, I'm about to spew you out of my mouth. There is no middle road when it comes to passion with the Lord. Either you love him and you are pursuing him, or you don't, and you're withdrawing. This concept, what made me think of this concept is we come across the verse in our reflection series in Genesis chapter 3, verse 8, where Adam and Eve, once God shows up, they had sinned, they had eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Once God showed up, they hid themselves. They hid from God. They attempted to withdraw from God. And that is a reality that happens when things surface in our life and our relationship with God, we pull back. Whether there's some kind of disappointment in what we expected from God, or we prayed for something and didn't really see anything happen with those prayers, and we're disappointed, angered about what the Lord has not prevented. We're suffering, going through something, and God doesn't seem to be there. And so we withdraw. Or we sin. We stumble into things, and we fall and we fail, and we don't feel right with God, and so we pull back. And sometimes we do that by our prayer life fades away. Our Bible study time becomes almost nothing. We start to pull away from church and talking about God, and we don't really want to go the Pharaoh route. We don't want to go cold route, but it just kind of leads to that direction. You know, we want to still believe in Jesus. We still want to go to heaven, but we just don't seem to have the hunger for those things anymore. That is a conscious heart choice. We have to decide to draw near to God. There's another scripture that says that those who search for him with all their heart find him. We need to constantly watch when that surfaces, that inclination to withdraw. And when that surfaces, we need to remind ourselves what's happening. You know, it's happening because this is kind of a fleshly response to suffering, or to stumbling, or to disappointment, or to failure, sin. And I need to push myself to, even though I don't feel it, to keep praying, keep studying the scripture, keep going to church, keep staying plugged in. I need to keep doing those things because in the end, God is faithful. Draw near to him and he will draw near to you, and you will end up back in a good place if you do that. But if you withdraw, you don't know where that might lead. So learn from Adam and Eve. They withdrew. What would happen if they would have came forward immediately and expressed what had happened? Would that have turned out somewhat differently? So if you have any questions about that, or you have any comments on that, just leave those in the comments. I'd be glad to answer your questions and respond to your comments. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you would, share it with somebody. You could share either the video or the series. And if you're on YouTube, please like the video and hit the subscription or the subscribe button and the notification bell. And on Facebook, click follow the page, and doing either of those will get you notified whenever new videos are updated. But thank you very much for being with me, and may God help us not to withdraw, but to draw near to the Lord. See you soon.